Lisa Carter stood at the observation window of Titan Base 7, watching the massive mining ships tear chunks from the asteroid field. The sight never got old. Each ship pulled tons of quantum crystals from the floating rocks. Crystals that would power humanity's ships and make them rich beyond measure. She owned it all. Every ship, every mining station, every crystal that came from this sector of space. At 35, Lisa controlled more wealth than most planets. The Carter Mining Corporation stretched across 3 solar systems and employed over 2 million people. But something felt wrong today. Daniel, her husband of 8 years, had insisted on coming to this inspection. He never came to the mining stations. He hated space travel and preferred to stay on Earth, managing the company's finances from their mansion in New Angeles. "The new extraction rates are impressive," Amanda Ross said, walking up behind Lisa with a data pad. Amanda had been Lisa's personal assistant for 3 years. She was smart, efficient, and Lisa trusted her completely, maybe too completely. Lisa turned to look at Amanda's report. The numbers were good, better than expected. The quantum crystals in this sector were the richest they had ever found. These crystals were special. They didn't just power ships, they made faster-than-light travel possible. Without them, humanity would still be stuck in their home solar system. "Where's Daniel?" Lisa asked, scanning the observation deck. "He's in the communications room," Amanda replied. "Something about urgent business back on Earth." Lisa nodded but felt uneasy. Daniel had been acting strange for months. He used to be warm and loving, but lately he seemed cold and distant. He spent more time away from home and less time talking to her. When she asked about it, he said he was just stressed about the business. The truth was much worse. Daniel and Amanda had been meeting in secret for over a year. They had been planning this day for months. Every detail had been worked out. Every backup plan was in place. Today, Lisa Carter would die and Daniel would inherit everything. "I need to do the external inspection," Lisa said, checking her environmental suit. "The mining laser arrays need a visual check before we move to the next sector." "Are you sure you want to go outside?" Amanda asked. "The radiation levels are higher than usual today." Lisa shrugged. She had been doing spacewalks since she was 20. She knew every type of environmental suit and every safety protocol. "I'll be fine. I've done this 1,000 times." What Lisa didn't know was that Amanda had already been to the equipment bay. She had carefully modified Lisa's environmental suit. The oxygen scrubbers had been damaged just enough to fail after 30 minutes. The emergency beacon had been disabled. The backup oxygen tanks had been emptied. Lisa put on her suit and ran through the standard safety checks. Everything looked normal. The suit sealed properly, the oxygen flowed correctly, and all systems showed green. She had no reason to suspect anything was wrong. "I'll be back in an hour," Lisa said over the comm system as she entered the airlock. Daniel's voice crackled through the speaker. "Be careful out there, honey, I love you." The words made Lisa smile. Maybe she had been wrong about Daniel. Maybe he was just going through a difficult time. After all, running a mining corporation was stressful work. Lisa stepped out into space. The view was incredible. The asteroid field stretched out in all directions, lit by the distant sun. Mining ships moved like giant insects, their lights blinking as they worked. She could see the blue glow of quantum crystals being extracted from the rocks. She moved along the station's hull, checking each mining laser array. The work was routine but important. These lasers cut through asteroid rock like butter, but they needed regular maintenance to work properly. Lisa had learned never to trust something this important to someone else. 20 minutes into her inspection, Lisa noticed something wrong with her oxygen display. The levels were dropping faster than they should. She checked the readings twice, then 3 times. The oxygen was definitely going down too quickly. Lisa activated her emergency protocols, but nothing happened. The backup systems didn't respond. The emergency beacon remained silent. She tried to contact the station, but her communications were dead. Panic began to set in. Lisa checked her suit's diagnostic systems. The oxygen scrubbers were failing. The backup tanks were empty. Someone had sabotaged her equipment. She looked back at the observation deck and saw 2 figures standing at the window. Even through the thick glass and across the distance, she could see Daniel and Amanda standing close together. Too close. Daniel's arm was around Amanda's waist. Amanda's hand was on Daniel's chest. The truth hit Lisa like a physical blow. They were working together. They had planned this. Her husband and her most trusted assistant had decided to kill her. Lisa tried to push off from the station's hull, hoping to reach an emergency airlock, but she was too far away. Her oxygen levels continued to drop. She could feel herself getting dizzy as the carbon dioxide built up in her suit. She watched through the observation window as Daniel and Amanda embraced. They weren't even trying to hide their relationship anymore. They knew she was dying. They were celebrating. Lisa's vision began to blur. Her breathing became labored. She could taste the stale air in her helmet as the scrubbers failed completely. But even as her body began to shut down, her mind remained sharp and focused on one thing: revenge. As the cold vacuum of space claimed her life, Lisa Carter made a promise to herself. Somehow, some way, she would make them pay for what they had done. Death would not be the end of her story. It would be the beginning of something much more terrible and beautiful than Daniel and Amanda could ever imagine. The quantum crystals floating all around her seemed to pulse with energy as her consciousness faded. Unknown to anyone, including Lisa herself, her final moments were being recorded not just by the station's cameras but by the crystals themselves. Her rage, her determination, her very essence was being absorbed into the quantum matrix that surrounded Titan Base 7. Lisa Carter was dead, but something else was being born in the crystal network that connected the mining stations across 3 solar systems. Something that would remember every detail of this betrayal and would not rest until justice was served. The news of Lisa Carter's death spread across the galaxy in hours. The woman who had discovered the quantum crystals that made faster-than-light travel possible was gone. The woman who had opened up 3 solar systems to human mining was dead. At 35, every major news network carried the story. Mining accident, they called it. Equipment failure in the vacuum of space. A tragic end to a brilliant life. Daniel Carter played his part perfectly. He appeared on camera with red eyes and a broken voice. "Lisa was my everything," he told the reporters. "She died doing what she loved, exploring the frontier of space. I will continue her work and honor her memory." Amanda Ross stood beside him, her hand on his shoulder in what looked like professional support. "Ms. Carter was a visionary," Amanda said. "The Carter Mining Corporation will continue under Mr. Carter's leadership. We will make sure her legacy lives on." But Lisa saw it all. She watched from somewhere beyond death, her consciousness trapped in the quantum crystal network that connected her mining stations. She could see everything that happened near the crystals. She could hear every word spoken in rooms powered by quantum energy. She watched Daniel and Amanda plan her funeral. She watched them choose the most expensive coffin, the most beautiful flowers, the most impressive memorial service. Not because they cared about her, but because they wanted to. Look good for the cameras. The funeral was held on Earth in the Grand Cathedral of New Angeles. The building could hold 10,000 people, and every seat was filled. Presidents, prime ministers, and corporate leaders came from across human space. Even alien representatives attended to honor the woman who had changed galactic history. Lisa's body floated in a crystal casket at the front of the cathedral. The casket was made from the same quantum crystals she had spent her life mining. The crystals glowed with soft blue light, casting shadows across the faces of the mourners. Daniel sat in the front row, dressed in a black suit that cost more than most people made in a year. Amanda sat 3 rows behind him, also in black, her face a perfect mask of grief. They had planned this carefully. They couldn't sit together. They couldn't show their true feelings. Not yet. The service began with speeches from government officials and business leaders. They talked about Lisa's contributions to humanity. They spoke of her vision and her courage. They called her a hero who had died too young. But Lisa noticed something else. She noticed the alien representatives in the back of the cathedral. The resonance from Kepler 442b stood tall and still, their crystal-like bodies catching the light from her casket. They were the beings who had first shown humans how to use quantum crystals safely. Elder Zix, the leader of the resonant delegation, stood apart from the others. His body was made of living crystal, much like the quantum crystals in Lisa's casket. As the human speakers continued their speeches, Elder Zix approached the casket. The other mourners thought he was performing some kind of alien ritual. They watched respectfully as he placed his crystal hand on the casket. But Lisa knew what was really happening. Elder Zix was talking to her. Lisa Carter, his voice echoed in her mind. Your consciousness lives in the crystal matrix. This is not normal for humans. Your species does not usually survive death in this way. Lisa tried to respond, but she had no voice, no body. She could only listen. I sense great anger in you, Elder Zix continued. Great pain. You were betrayed by those you trusted. Your death was not an accident. The memorial service continued around them. Daniel stood up to give his speech. He walked to the podium with slow, measured steps. His face was the picture of grief. Lisa was more than my wife, Daniel said into the microphone. She was my partner, my best friend, my reason for living. I don't know how I'll go on without her. Amanda watched from her seat, her eyes fixed on Daniel. Even in this moment, Lisa could see the desire in Amanda's face. The woman was barely containing her excitement. Soon, she and Daniel would be free to be together. Soon, they would control the largest mining corporation in human space. Lisa believed in pushing the boundaries of human achievement, Daniel continued. She believed in taking risks to make life better for everyone. She died as she lived, reaching for the stars. The crowd applauded. Many people wiped tears from their eyes, but Lisa saw something else. She saw Daniel's hand shake slightly as he gripped the podium. She saw Amanda's lips curve into the smallest smile. Elder Zix's voice returned to her mind. They mock your death. They celebrate while others mourn. This is not how humans should behave. They killed me, Lisa managed to think, and somehow Elder Zix heard her. Yes, he replied. I can see the truth in the crystal matrix. Your husband and your assistant planned your murder. They damaged your equipment. They watched you die. The service continued for 2 more hours. Speaker after speaker praised Lisa's achievements. They talked about her childhood in the mining colonies. They discussed her education at the Mars Technical Institute. They described her first major discovery in the asteroid belt. But through it all, Lisa watched Daniel and Amanda. She saw the quick glances they shared. She noticed how Amanda's eyes followed Daniel as he moved through the crowd. She saw Daniel's hand brush against Amanda's when they thought no one was looking. After the final speech, the mourners filed past Lisa's casket to pay their respects. Government officials, business leaders, friends, and family members all stopped to say goodbye. Many of them left flowers or small gifts. Daniel was the last to approach the casket. He stood there for a long moment, his head bowed. To everyone watching, he looked like a grieving husband saying farewell to his beloved wife. But Lisa could see his face. She could see the relief in his eyes. She could see the slight smile that played at the corners of his mouth. Goodbye, Lisa, he whispered. Thank you for everything you've given me. Amanda approached as the crowd began to leave. She stood beside Daniel, her hand touching his arm. It's over, she said quietly. We're free. Daniel nodded. The lawyers say the will is clear. Everything goes to me. The corporation, the mining rights, all of it. When can we announce our engagement? Amanda asked. Give it 6 months, Daniel replied. We need to look respectful, but after that we can do whatever we want. They walked away together, leaving Lisa's body alone in the cathedral. The quantum crystals in her casket continued to glow, pulsing with energy that no one could see or understand. Elder Zix remained behind after the other mourners left. He approached the casket one final time. Lisa Carter, he said in her mind, your consciousness is strong, stronger than any human we have encountered. The crystal matrix has preserved not just your thoughts, but your will to live. I want revenge, Lisa thought back to him. Revenge is a dangerous path, Elder Zix warned. But justice, that is different. Your people have been betrayed by more than just your husband and assistant. There are greater threats they have brought to your species. What do you mean? The crystal matrix shows me many things. Your killers have made deals with forces that would destroy all humans. They have sold information to the Devourers, the machine race that consumes entire worlds. Lisa's consciousness burned with new rage. Not only had Daniel and Amanda killed her, but they had betrayed all of humanity. There is a way to give you new life, Elder Zix continued, a way to return you to the physical world, but it will require great sacrifice and you will not be the same as you were before. I don't care, Lisa replied. I'll do whatever it takes. Elder Zix's crystal body pulsed with light. Then we must act quickly. The Devourers are already moving. Your husband and assistant have given them detailed information about human defenses. The attack will come soon. As the cathedral emptied and the lights dimmed, Lisa made her choice. She would return from the dead. She would stop the coming invasion, and she would make Daniel and Amanda pay for what they had done. The quantum crystals in her casket glowed brighter, responding to her determination. Her journey back to life was about to begin. Elder Zix moved through the empty cathedral, his crystal body making no sound on the marble floor. The funeral was over. The mourners had gone home. Only Lisa's casket remained, glowing softly in the darkness. The process must begin now. Elder Zix spoke into Lisa's mind. Every moment we wait, the Devourers move closer to your worlds. Lisa's consciousness floated in the quantum network, watching through 1,000 different crystal displays across 3 solar systems. She could see her mining stations, her ships, her workers. All of it would be destroyed if the Devourers attacked. What do you need me to do? She asked. Nothing yet, Elder Zix replied. But you must understand what will happen. We will take you to our home world, Kepler 442b. There, in the sacred crystal caves, we will give you a new body. But this body will not be human. Elder Zix explained that the resonants were beings made of living crystal. They had evolved over millions of years to become one with the quantum energy that flowed through space. Their bodies were not flesh and blood, but pure energy held together by crystal matrix. Your consciousness will be placed into a similar form, Elder Zix said. You will look human, but you will be something more. Something that can travel between stars without ships. Something that can control quantum energy with thought alone. Lisa considered this. She had spent her whole life working with quantum crystals. She understood their power better than almost any human. The idea of becoming one with that power was both terrifying and exciting. Will I still be me? She asked. Your memories will remain. Your personality will remain. But you will have abilities that no human has ever possessed. You will be the first of your kind. While Elder Zix spoke, Lisa watched Daniel and Amanda through the security cameras at her corporate headquarters on Mars. They had wasted no time in taking over her office. Daniel sat behind her desk, signing papers that transferred ownership of the entire corporation to him. Amanda stood beside him, no longer hiding their relationship. The lawyers say everything is legal, Amanda said, reading from a data pad. All the mining rights, all the equipment, all the bank accounts, it's all yours now. Daniel smiled and pulled Amanda down into his lap. Ours, he corrected. We're in this together. They kissed, right there in Lisa's office, surrounded by the awards and photos that represented her life's work. Lisa felt her consciousness burn with rage. The quantum crystals throughout the building responded to her anger, their light flickering and pulsing. Your emotions are strong, Elder Zix observed. This is good. Strong emotions will help power your new form. Elder Zix began the process of extracting Lisa's consciousness from the quantum network. It felt like being pulled apart and put back together at the same time. Lisa's awareness stretched across light years of space as her consciousness was gathered from every crystal that contained part of her essence. The journey to Kepler 442b took 3 days. Elder Zix traveled in a ship made entirely of living crystal, moving through space faster than any human vessel. Lisa's consciousness rode within the ship's quantum matrix, experiencing faster-than-light travel in a way no human ever had. Kepler 442b was unlike any world Lisa had ever seen. The entire planet was made of crystal formations that reached toward the sky like massive trees. The resonant cities were built into these crystal structures, glowing with soft light that pulsed like a heartbeat. "This is the home of our species," Elder Zix explained as they descended toward the surface. "Here, quantum energy flows naturally through the ground. Here we can create your new form." The sacred crystal caves were deep beneath the planet's surface. Elder Zix led Lisa's consciousness down through tunnels that sparkled with every color of light. The walls were covered with formations that hummed with power. "These crystals have been growing for 10 million years, Elder Zix said. "They contain the accumulated wisdom and energy of our entire species. We will use a small portion of this energy to create your body." Other resonants gathered in the sacred chamber. There were dozens of them, their crystal bodies reflecting light in complex patterns. They began to sing, their voices creating harmonics that made the cave walls vibrate. "This is our creation song," Elder Zix explained. "It has not been sung for 1,000 years. You are the first non-resonant to be given this gift." The singing grew louder, and the crystals in the cave began to glow more brightly. Energy flowed through the air like visible streams of light. Lisa felt her consciousness being drawn toward the center of the chamber, where a single large crystal stood on a pedestal. "Your new body will form around this crystal," Elder Zix said. "It will be your heart, your source of power. Guard it well, for if it is destroyed, you will truly die." The energy in the cave reached a peak, and suddenly Lisa felt herself being compressed, concentrated, focused into a single point of awareness. Then, with a flash of light that filled the entire chamber, her new body began to form. It started as a skeleton of pure crystal, then added layers of energy that looked like muscle and skin. The process was painful and wonderful at the same time. Lisa felt every part of her new form as it came into being. When the light faded, Lisa stood in the center of the chamber in her new body. She looked human, but her skin had a faint crystalline quality that caught the light. Her hair was silver white and her eyes glowed with soft blue energy. "How do you feel?" Elder Zix asked. Lisa flexed her fingers and felt power flow through them. She could sense the quantum energy in every crystal around her. She could feel the network that connected crystals across the galaxy. She was part of it now, connected to everything. "I feel strong," she said, her voice carrying harmonics that had not been there before. "I feel ready." But as Lisa tested her new abilities, she began to understand the true extent of Daniel and Amanda's betrayal. Through the quantum network, she could access communications from across human space. She found encrypted messages between Amanda and unknown contacts, messages that contained detailed maps of human colonies, defense positions, and mining operations. "The Devourers," Lisa whispered as she read the files. "They know everything," Elder Zix nodded grimly. "Your husband and assistant have been selling information to them for over a year. The machine race knows where your people are weakest. They know which worlds have the fewest defenses." Lisa saw the full scope of the coming attack. The Devourers planned to strike at 17 different human colonies simultaneously. They would destroy the mining operations first, cutting off humanity's access to quantum crystals. Without the crystals, human ships would be trapped in their home systems, unable to help each other. "When will they attack?" Lisa asked. "Soon," Elder Zix replied. "Our scouts report that Devourer fleets are already moving. They will reach your outer colonies in less than 72 hours. Lisa felt her new body respond to her emotions. The crystal at her heart pulsed with energy. Light flowed along her skin like veins of power. She was no longer just human. She was something more. "Then we have work to do," she said. Elder Zix and the other resonants had already prepared for this moment. They had been watching the Devourers for centuries, waiting for the right time to act. Lisa's transformation was part of a larger plan. "You will not face this alone," Elder Zix assured her. 12 other species have agreed to stand with humanity against the Devourers. But you must be the one to coordinate the defense. Your connection to the quantum network makes you the perfect choice. Lisa learned to use her new abilities quickly. She could project her consciousness across vast distances, appearing as a hologram wherever quantum crystals were present. She could control energy with her thoughts, manipulating matter at the molecular level. She could travel faster than light, without a ship, moving through the quantum network like data through a computer. But most importantly, she could interface directly with any technology that used quantum crystals. Since most human technology now used quantum power, Lisa had access to almost every ship, station, and communication network in human space. Daniel and Amanda think they're safe, Lisa said, as she prepared to leave Kepler 442b. They think they've won, but they have no idea what's coming for them. Elder Zix placed a crystal hand on her shoulder. Remember, your goal is not just revenge. Your goal is to save your species. The Devourers must be stopped, not just defeated. Lisa nodded. Her new form was complete, but her mission was just beginning. She had died as a human businesswoman. She had been reborn as something far more powerful. Now it was time to show Daniel, Amanda, and the entire galaxy what humanity could become when pushed to the edge. The quantum crystals throughout the cave pulsed with energy as Lisa prepared for her first journey in her new form. She would return to human space, but not as the woman who had died. She would return as humanity's guardian, armed with power beyond anything the Devourers expected. Daniel and Amanda had made the mistake of thinking death was the end of Lisa Carter's story. They were about to learn that death was only the beginning. Lisa's first journey through the quantum network was like nothing she had ever experienced. One moment she was standing in the crystal caves of Kepler 442b. The next, she was floating in space near Mars. Her new body moved through the quantum field like light through glass, traveling faster than any human ship. She appeared outside the Carter Mining Corporation headquarters, her crystalline form invisible to normal human sensors. Through the building's quantum-powered systems, she could see everything happening inside. Daniel and Amanda were in her old office, celebrating their success. "The transfer is complete," Amanda said, holding up a data pad. "Every mining operation, every ship, every account, it's all under your control now." Daniel poured 2 glasses of expensive wine. "To Lisa," he said with a cruel smile, "thank you for making us rich." They laughed as they drank. Lisa watched them toast her death, and her new crystalline heart pulsed with cold anger. But she had learned patience from the resonance. Revenge would come, but first she needed information. Lisa extended her consciousness into the building's computer systems. Her quantum nature allowed her to access any system that used crystal technology. She moved through the networks like a ghost, copying files and reading encrypted messages. What she found was worse than she had expected. Daniel and Amanda had been working with the Devourers for 18 months, not just 1 year. They had provided detailed information about every human colony, every defense station, every mining operation. The machine race knew exactly where humanity was weakest. But the real shock came when Lisa found the payment records. The Devourers had not paid Daniel and Amanda with money or resources. They had paid them with promises. Promises that they would be allowed to live when humanity was destroyed. Promises that they would rule the surviving humans as puppet governors. "They actually believe the Devourers will keep their word," Lisa whispered to herself. The Devourers were machines. They did not make deals with organic life. They consumed everything in their path. Lisa dug deeper into the files. She found communication logs, meeting schedules, and detailed invasion plans. The Devourer fleet was larger than anyone had imagined. 300 ships were already moving toward human space. They would arrive in 60 hours. The invasion would begin with simultaneous attacks on 17 outer colonies. These colonies provided the quantum crystals that powered human civilization. Without them, human ships would be stranded, unable to help each other or escape. Lisa studied the attack plans and realized something important. The Devourers expected no resistance. They thought humanity was weak and divided. They had no idea that other alien species were preparing to help. Time to change that, Lisa said. She projected her consciousness to Titan Base 7 where she had died. The mining station was still operating, still pulling quantum crystals from the asteroid field. The workers had no idea that their boss was dead or that an invasion was coming. Lisa appeared in the station's command center as a shimmering hologram. The duty officer, a man named Jake Harris, nearly fell out of his chair. "Ms. Carter?" Jake stammered. "But you're dead. We attended your funeral." "That was my old body," Lisa replied. "This is something new. Jake, I need you to listen carefully. Humanity is in danger. A machine race called the Devourers is going to attack in 60 hours. Jake stared at her hologram. Lisa's new form was clearly not human, but her voice and mannerisms were unmistakably Lisa Carter. "I don't understand. How are you here? What happened to you?" Lisa explained quickly. She told Jake about Daniel and Amanda's betrayal, about her consciousness being preserved in the quantum crystals, about her transformation on the resonant homeworld. She showed him the invasion plans she had stolen from the corporate files. "My husband and my assistant sold us out," Lisa said. "They gave the Devourers everything they needed to destroy human civilization." Jake studied the data with growing horror. "These attack coordinates, they're all our most important colonies. If the Devourers hit these targets, we'll lose 90% of our quantum crystal production." "Exactly," Lisa confirmed. "But we're not going to let that happen. I need you to send a message to every human military commander. Tell them that Lisa Carter is alive, and that she has information about a coming attack." While Jake sent the messages, Lisa projected herself to other locations across human space. She appeared to colonial governors, military officers, and mining supervisors. Each time, she shared the invasion plans and warned them to prepare for battle. The reaction was always the same: shock, disbelief, then growing understanding as Lisa proved her identity and showed them the stolen data. Within hours, human military forces across 3 solar systems were mobilizing for war. But Lisa knew that human forces alone would not be enough. The Devourer fleet was too large and too advanced. She needed the alien alliance that Elder Zix had promised. Lisa projected her consciousness to the resonant homeworld. Elder Zix was waiting for her in the crystal chamber where she had been reborn. "The invasion begins in 58 hours, Lisa reported. "I have warned the human military, but we need your help. The alliance is ready," Elder Zix assured her. 12 species have agreed to fight alongside humanity, but we need a coordinating intelligence, someone who can direct the battle across multiple star systems simultaneously. "That's me," Lisa said without hesitation. Elder Zix's crystal body pulsed with approval. "You have learned quickly. Your consciousness can be in many places at once through the quantum network. You can see the entire battlefield and coordinate our forces." Lisa felt the weight of responsibility settling on her. She would be commanding not just human forces, but alien fleets from 12 different species. The fate of humanity rested on her ability to outthink and outmaneuver the Devourer machines. "There's something else," Lisa said. "I want Daniel and Amanda to know the truth before the battle begins. They think they're safe. They think they'll be rewarded for their betrayal. I want them to understand what they've really done." Elder Zix considered this. "Revenge can cloud judgment. Are you certain this is wise?" "It's not just revenge," Lisa replied. "They have information that could be useful. They know details about the Devourer plans that aren't in the files I stole. If I can make them understand the situation, they might help us." Lisa projected herself back to Mars, to the Carter Mining Corporation headquarters. Daniel and Amanda were in the executive boardroom, meeting with the company's senior staff. They were announcing Lisa's death and their engagement, claiming that Lisa had wanted them to be together. Lisa appeared in the center of the boardroom as a figure of living light and crystal energy. The staff members screamed and fled, but Daniel and Amanda were frozen in shock. "Hello, husband," Lisa said, her voice carrying harmonics that made the windows vibrate. "Hello, Amanda. Surprised to see me?" Daniel's face went white. "You're dead. We watched you die." You murdered me, Lisa corrected. You sabotaged my environmental suit and watched me suffocate in space. But death isn't as final as you thought. Amanda backed away from the conference table. What are you? Some kind of ghost? I'm something much more dangerous than a ghost, Lisa replied. I'm Justice, and I'm here to tell you that your Devourer friends are not going to honor their deal. Lisa projected the real Devourer files into the room's display systems. The true invasion plans appeared on every screen, not just the military targets but the complete extermination plan for all human life. They're not going to let you rule the survivors, Lisa explained. There aren't going to be any survivors. The Devourers plan to strip mine every human world and consume all organic life. Daniel stared at the screens in horror. No, that's not right. They promised us safe passage. They promised us positions in the new order. The Devourers are machines, Lisa said. They don't make deals with organic life. They consume it. You've helped them plan the complete destruction of our species. Amanda collapsed into a chair, her face pale with shock. We didn't know. They told us they just wanted the mining rights. They said they would leave the colonies alone. You knew enough, Lisa replied coldly. You knew they were enemies of humanity. You knew you were committing treason. You just didn't care as long as you got rich. Lisa studied their faces. The horror and guilt she saw there were real. Daniel and Amanda were beginning to understand the magnitude of their betrayal. There's still time to do the right thing, Lisa said. The invasion begins in 56 hours. You have access to the Devourer communication systems. You can send false information, delay their attack, disrupt their coordination. Daniel looked up at her with desperate eyes. Would that make up for what we did? Nothing can make up for murder and treason, Lisa replied. But it might save some lives. It might give humanity a chance to survive. Amanda stood up slowly. What do you want us to do? Lisa smiled, and for a moment her crystalline features looked almost human. I want you to help me turn your betrayal into our victory. The Devourers are expecting no resistance. Let's give them the surprise of their lives. The Devourer fleet appeared at the edge of the Vega system 54 hours later, 2 hours ahead of schedule. 300 massive ships emerged from faster-than-light travel, their dark metal hulls bristling with weapons designed to strip planets bare. Admiral Kane Harrison, commanding the human defense fleet from his flagship, the UES Liberty, watched the enemy ships on his displays with growing dread. My God, he whispered. There are so many of them. Lisa's voice came through the quantum communication system, reaching every human ship simultaneously. This is Lisa Carter. I know many of you think I'm dead. I know this situation seems impossible, but humanity has never backed down from a fight, and we're not starting now. Her crystalline form appeared as a hologram on the bridge of every ship in the fleet. The human crews stared in amazement at their transformed leader. She looked like a figure of living light, her skin gleaming with crystal patterns, her eyes burning with blue energy. The Devourers expect us to be weak and divided, Lisa continued. They think we'll run or surrender. They're about to learn why that was a mistake. The Devourer ships began moving toward the inner planets of the Vega system, where Lisa had positioned the largest concentration of quantum crystals in known space. But as they advanced, space around them began to shimmer and distort. Ships appeared from nowhere. Resonant crystal vessels emerged from quantum tunnels. The insect-like ships of the Mantari materialized from dimensional folds. The living vessels of the coral gardens phased into normal space. 12 different alien species had answered the Baar call to defend humanity. Elder Zix's voice joined Lisa's on the communication channels. People of Earth, you are not alone. The organic species of this galaxy stand with you against the machine threat. The Devourer Admiral, a mechanical intelligence called Unit Prime, processed this unexpected development. The machines had expected no resistance. Their calculations showed human forces scattered and unprepared. The presence of alien allies was not part of their invasion protocol. Analysis incomplete, Unit Prime transmitted to its fleet. Alien intervention not calculated, revising tactical parameters. But Lisa was already moving. Her consciousness split across the quantum network, appearing simultaneously on human ships, alien vessels, and space stations throughout the system. She could see the entire battlefield from 1,000 different angles. All ships, execute formation. Delta 7, she commanded. The human fleet moved with precision that surprised even their own commanders. Lisa was coordinating their movements through the quantum network, her enhanced consciousness processing tactical data faster than any computer. The Devourers opened fire first, their energy weapons lancing out across space. But the Allied fleet was ready. Resonant ships absorbed the energy attacks and redirected them back at the enemy. Mantari vessels used their superior speed to dodge between the massive Devourer ships, striking at weak points with surgical precision. Lisa focused her attention on the largest Devourer ship, Unit Prime's command vessel. She projected her consciousness directly into its systems, her quantum nature allowing her to interface with their technology. "Hello, Unit Prime," she said, appearing as a figure of light on the machine's bridge. "I'm Lisa Carter, and you made a big mistake coming to my galaxy." Unit Prime's sensors struggled to analyze Lisa's energy signature. Unknown entity detected. Classification: impossible. Organic consciousness should not exist in quantum matrix. "I'm full of surprises," Lisa replied. She began interfacing with the ship's systems, turning the Devourer's own technology against them. Weapon systems shut down. Navigation computers crashed. Life support systems failed throughout the ship. "You killed me for money and power," Lisa said as she systematically destroyed the command ship from within. "But you gave me something much more valuable. You gave me the power to protect my people." Unit Prime tried to purge Lisa from its systems, but her consciousness was too deeply integrated into the quantum network. Every crystal-powered system on the ship responded to her will. "Impossible," Unit Prime transmitted. "Organic life cannot control quantum technology at this level." "Watch and learn," Lisa said. She reached out through the quantum network, connecting to every crystal-powered device in the Devourer fleet. The machines had stolen human quantum technology when they made their deal with Daniel and Amanda. Now that technology turned against them, Devourer ships began shutting down one by one. Their weapons went silent, their engines failed, their communication systems crashed. The mighty invasion fleet found itself helpless in space, victims of their own stolen technology. Admiral Harrison watched in amazement as enemy ships drifted powerless through space. "How is she doing this?" "The Devourers are machines," Lisa's voice explained through the communication system. "They think in terms of code and programming, but I'm not just using their technology. I'm part of it now. I'm in their quantum matrix, and I'm rewriting their basic functions." The battle was over in less than 3 hours. The Devourer fleet that had threatened to destroy human civilization was now floating helplessly in space. Some ships had been destroyed by the alien allies. Others had been disabled by Lisa's quantum manipulation. The rest were fleeing toward the edge of the system, but Lisa wasn't finished. She projected her consciousness across space, following the fleeing ships. "You came here to destroy my people," she transmitted to every Devourer vessel. "Now you're going to carry a message back to your leaders." She implanted a virus in their quantum communication systems, a message that would spread throughout the entire Devourer network. The message was simple. Humanity was under the protection of the Organic Alliance, and any attack on human worlds would be met with total resistance. "Tell your leaders that Lisa Carter is watching," she added. "Tell them that humanity has guardians, now." The surviving Devourer ships jumped to faster-than-light travel, carrying Lisa's warning back to their empire. They would not return to human space. In the aftermath of the battle, Lisa projected herself to the bridge of the UES Liberty. Admiral Harrison and his crew stared at her holographic form with a mixture of awe and respect. "Ms. Carter," Admiral Harrison said, "I don't know how to thank you. You saved us all." "I didn't do this alone," Lisa replied. "Every human in this fleet fought bravely. Our alien allies risked their lives for us, and even Daniel and Amanda helped." In the end, Daniel and Amanda had indeed played their part. Following Lisa's instructions, they had sent false tactical data to the Devourer fleet, causing confusion and delays that gave the Allied forces crucial advantages. It wasn't enough to forgive their crimes, but it had helped save lives. Lisa's consciousness returned to her crystalline body, which was floating in space near the largest concentration of quantum crystals. The battle was won, but her work was just beginning. Elder Zix appeared beside her, his crystal form shimmering in the light of the Vega star. "You have done well, Lisa Carter. Your species has proven itself worthy of alliance with the organic races." "This was just the beginning," Lisa replied. "The Devourers will be back someday. We need to be ready." Over the following months, Lisa worked with human governments and alien allies to establish a new defensive network. She shared quantum crystal technology that advanced human civilization by centuries. She helped create training programs that taught humans to work alongside alien species. But most importantly, she made sure that humanity never forgot the lesson of the Devourer invasion. Betrayal from within was just as dangerous as any external threat. Trust had to be earned and carefully guarded. Daniel and Amanda were put on trial for treason and murder. They received life sentences in the mining colonies, working in the most dangerous operations under constant supervision. They would spend the rest of their lives trying to make up for their betrayal, knowing they could never truly atone for what they had done. Lisa chose not to reclaim her corporate empire. Instead, she became humanity's first quantum guardian, a protector who watched over human space from the crystal network that connected every human world. She was no longer bound by the limitations of physical form. She could be anywhere, see everything, and respond to threats faster than any normal human. The galaxy learned to respect humanity not for their weapons or their technology, but for their ability to transform tragedy into triumph. Lisa Carter's story became legend among both humans and aliens. The woman who had been murdered for her wealth had returned as the guardian of her entire species. Children grew up hearing stories of the quantum guardian who protected them from the darkness between the stars. They learned that even death could not stop someone with the determination to protect the people they loved. Lisa kept her promise to herself. She had returned from death to claim justice, and she had done far more than that. She had saved humanity and secured their place among the stars. The betrayal that was meant to destroy her had instead made her the most powerful force in human space. The quantum crystals that had once been just a source of wealth became sacred symbols of human resilience. They reminded everyone that even in the darkest moments, the human spirit could find a way to shine brighter than the stars themselves. Lisa Carter had died as a victim. She had been reborn as a champion, and she would watch over humanity for as long as the crystals held their light.